जारी लोहिया वाणी 28:1 से.
Earlier, but obviously it was some kind of a mechanical failure. I should hesitate to talk of a subject of which we as a people know so little, but love to talk a great deal, and the objects of which we possess in such very small measure. My emotions are entirely with Dr. Millis, but my mind refuses to go along with him. I should like to make clear at the outset that all the idealism that comes out of my country at the present moment is phony. If we had the resources, we would have the bomb. If any Indian politician assures you that he would not use atomic energy for warlike purposes, he is not telling the truth. There was one man who did tell the truth, and that was Mahatma Gandhi. But with his death, that kind of idealism has gone out of Indian politics, at least from the effective point of view, the practical politician. And Mr. Haley, I should like to remark that there are two types of practical politicians, the successful practical politician and the unsuccessful practical politician like me. I hate weapons, but I just don't know what to substitute for them, except one thing, of which so little has been talked here, and that is the habit, individual and mass, to disobey. I would reduce the whole problem to very simple terms. What, after all, are weapons and force? Weapons are, so to say, the most exaggerated expression of force. You enforce obedience when you find that you cannot convince or persuade the other fellow. Now, what is the alternative to that? Except that you refuse to obey, as an individual and as a mass. I know what I am saying has probably very little practical consequences, because we have tried that out. And we know that the human capacity for disobedience is very limited. And as soon as it is really tested, we begin to flounder. But then I think there lies the only hope for the human race. Not that I'm condemning other measures that have been put forward. I would only compliment whatever Justice Douglas has suggested with this requirement that the individual and the mass may be persuaded to acquire this habit of disobedience. For instance, when Mr. Neal suggested that America might retire from, shall I extend your argument further? I mean, from all over the world, not only Europe, I was happy. America might lose her governmental allies. That is perhaps what you meant, Mr. Haley. But America might win people's allies, popular allies, individuals like me. Water might find its level. And if that happened, presumably we might have something in the world which would combine force with reason. So far, no such instrument has been discovered by the human race, something which will combine force and reason. The only thing I know is civil disobedience. Again, I would not like to be misunderstood. I don't wish to be one-sided. It's not as if that is the only weapon, but that must be included in your arsenal for substituting weapons or arms. For instance, I have not been able to understand this pious thinking about how the human race has proceeded from force to reason. Many of you seem to be banking a great deal on what Professor Cohen said about the substitution of reason in place of force. I should like to think that Protestants and Catholics agreed to coexist only when there was a third system which enforced them to coexist, and that was the emerging industrial revolution. In like manner, there has to be some new system which would force America and Russia, to name concrete examples, I shouldn't be naming them, I mean, whatever systems dominate the world today, to coexist. There must, of course, be the willingness to coexist. On the other hand, there must be some kind of a force, some system, which would enforce this coexistence. I have called this coexistence with approximation. Coexistence by itself is a rather empty doctrine, or I should say, somewhat inadequate doctrine. But if it were combined with approximation, willingness on the part of the two systems to approximate to each other, and also the presence of a third system which would enforce such approximation, something might come out of it. In conclusion, I would like to point out some kind of a personal Gallup poll that I have carried out in my country, and that is, the most popular female name in my country is Shanti, which means peace. There are other names, but this name I have met with most frequently. But that Shanti is to be understood both as outward peace and inward peace. And we have none of it, not even in India. There is no inward peace anywhere in the world, and unless we inquired into the possibilities of that inward peace, equanimity, or whatever you call it, I don't think we would make much of a progress. That is all I had to say.